it's nothing new, but it's so good to see you. We do this every day, and I'm still so amazed by you. So hold me tight through the night. It's just us two, me and you. Oh, oh, I can't believe you love me. Oh, I just feel so lucky. Oh.
Hi everyone. As we get older, there is this strange pressure on us to all of a sudden age gracefully, naturally, but not too naturally. Things like Botox and fillers and HRT and even just a simple facial all of a sudden becomes these huge conversations. So I thought I would cover this on today's video and talk about some of these topics and maybe even touch on what I've tried and what I've liked and what I haven't liked. So stick with me till the end. Hi, my name is Raina and this is Small Retired Life. And on my channel, we talk about all things pertaining to retirement, all the ups and the downs, and living our life in our 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond. If you're new, welcome here. Here's the thing, by the time you hit the age of 50 or higher, you're a grown woman, and as far as I'm concerned, you have full autonomy to do what you wish when it concerns your own personal body. Whether you do a procedure or take medication or whatever it is that you do because it makes you feel better physically or it makes you feel better mentally, or you just like the way it makes you look in the mirror when you brush your teeth in the morning. The great thing is that you get to make that decision. I've noticed there is so much what I would almost call like little snide kind of picking when women either choose to do Botox or use HRT or do something else. Like there's this virtue of being all natural and doing nothing. And then there's the other side of it where women will do some of these procedures and they feel somehow that they're looking after themselves better than someone who does nothing. I am so not into these extreme types of conversations. As you know, I'm very much about the center of the road. I'm very much about you do you, don't yuck on someone else's yum. If something makes you happy, you go ahead and do it. In this video, I specifically want to discuss some of the things that I've tried because I think I'm a pretty normal human being. I'm just your average woman. And so I have tried a few things. I have tried things like Botox and facials, etc. And I have my own opinions on them, I guess, but I thought it would be interesting to see it from the point of view of someone who is very average. Since we're discussing body care and beauty care and so on, I am so happy to have Wild partner up with me on this video. I switched to Wild deodorant probably about a year ago. I needed a really good deodorant and I'm a huge runner. I like to work out, so I sweat a lot. I definitely need a deodorant that is going to perform well. Wild keeps me smelling clean and fresh for 24 hours. I also love the fact that it is aluminum, salt, and paraben free, so it doesn't clog my pores. Wild always comes out with some really cute seasonal cases and scents. My favorite scent of the season is the black cherry. And my favorite case is this one with the little red bows on it. Wild's cases are refillable, and Wild has saved about 1.6 million pounds of single-use plastic out of the landfill. Filling the case with the refill is so easy. Simply remove the lid, twist the bottom of the case as far left as it will go, and then firmly remove the body from the case. Take your refill, plop it on top, take the body of the case, place it and push it down firmly, and then twist to the right and get the deodorant all the way up. And here you go, it's ready to use. Wild is holding their biggest sale of the year. If you use my code REINA33, you will receive 33% off your order. This code doesn't last long, so follow my link in the description below the video and browse through the selection of deodorants and body washes and lip balms. What a great time to stock up on some stocking stuffers and Christmas gifts. Thank you, Wild, for partnering up on my video. In my case, the journey to trying out some of these procedures started out in a very unglamorous way, and that was with bunion surgery. Bunions tend to be genetic. My mom had them, my dad had them. I didn't get them from wearing high heels. I never wore high heels as an adult. I traveled too much and had to run around the streets of New York too much to wear high heels. But I definitely missed out in the gene pool and I had bunions. I remember my mom, when she was quite a bit older, could only wear one kind of shoes because her bunions were so bad. And I was, pretty vain, and I didn't have to stick to wearing one kind of shoe. I wanted to be able to wear nice shoes. So I decided to explore getting bunion surgery. And I had heard all of these nightmare stories about it, and that it hurt and it was awful and yada yada. But anyways, I went to the doctor, I went to the podiatrist, and he took a look at my feet. He said my bunions were what he termed as medium range. In other words, they weren't severe, but they were definitely getting worse. So we decided to do the surgery. Now, I'm Canadian, so in Canada, things are a little bit different when it comes to surgery. I had two options. One was either getting it done in his office and then paying the full cost, which I believe at the time was around $2,000 per foot, or I could go on a waiting list and go to a surgical center, and it was going to be $300. Needless to say, I chose the $300 route. I decided I was perfectly willing to go on a waiting list. Lo and behold, a month after being on the waiting list, they called me in to have my first surgery. I went in, I got put out, I was out like the lights, cannot remember a single thing. All I know is the surgery went really well. I was in a cast for 12 weeks, and then it took about a year for the foot to really heal up and to stop swelling and to kind of get to its proper size. At that point, I decided to have the second surgery. Now, before I talk about the second surgery, there is a little bit of a backstory here. Around early 2011, I went ice climbing with my boyfriend. I used to do a lot of ice climbing. That's where you climb all of the ice waterfalls and so on. And I was climbing this iced waterfall, and the ice axe got stuck in the ice, and I was trying to pull it out. And as I was pulling it out, it smashed into my eyebrow, split the eyebrow open, and blood everywhere. It was horrible. I had to try and climb with blood coming out of my face. It took about a month for my face to heal up because it went all black. And then the result of it was a droopy eyebrow on this side, and it drooped, I thought, quite a bit. I could see it every time I looked in the mirror. I saw this little droopy eyebrow and a scar. Awful. So anyways, went for my second bunion surgery, and this time around I had a different anesthesiologist, and he didn't give me as much juice as the last one did. So the result was that I was kind of half awake during my surgery, and also became a real chatty Cathy, and decided to have a full-on conversation with him, and was telling him about how I hated my droopy eyebrow and it was driving me crazy. And he said to me, and I remember this, he said, well, why don't you go and try Botox? You know, they can actually like lift the eyebrow up with Botox. Before going to the Botox story, I'll finish up with the bunion surgery. I had a great result. I healed up really well. The second foot took also another year to kind of come back to the right size and swelling stop and everything like that. I am so pleased with the results. I have no problem with my feet. I can wear any kind of shoes I want. My feet are actually a bit on the narrow side now, which is fine. I had no problem like running or anything like that afterwards. I actually ran a marathon a few years after I had the surgery, I believe. So yeah, it really worked for me. Everyone's different. If you're considering it, you can ask me questions in the comment section below, but it's something you'll have to decide with your own doctor. I was a good candidate for it. I chose to do it when I was younger because the recovery is just easier when you're younger. Now, after the Botox conversation with the doc, I decided to kind of check into that. So I made an appointment with my dermatologist. And I showed him my droopy eyebrow and told him it was driving me crazy and could they do some Botox to help. So they did. It was very easy. Essentially, I had just the tiniest amount of Botox. They put a little bit on this side and a little bit of this side and just in the eyebrow area. And I had that done for a course of a year, every 3 months. I think the cost at the time was $150. It wasn't a lot because I was getting such a tiny amount. And as a matter of fact, my insurance covered it because it was because of that muscle failure in my eyebrow. And it wasn't considered cosmetic. Now, the benefit of it was that it actually did have an amazing little cosmetic effect in that it erased these little frown lines that I had right here. I still had lines here and here, but I didn't have Botox done there, so I don't know how well the Botox would have worked, but it certainly worked in the middle of my forehead. This is back in 2015, and I haven't had it done since then. After I finished the treatment and my eyebrow was much better, the droop was significantly improved. I didn't do it again, but would I? Would I go and do it again? Absolutely. I've actually been thinking about it because it really did work well, and it was so easy. It didn't hurt. The only other time I've tried Botox was completely for non-cosmetic reasons. I had it done for my TMJ, where they kind of do it along here. It was expensive and it didn't work, so I don't know what else to say. Maybe some of you have tried it for TMJ or migraines, but it didn't work for me. The second thing I've tried that I guess is cosmetic is my Invisalign treatment. So that's the kind of clear braces that you get for your teeth. Because I had some insane TMJ issues, and just to let you kind of understand, when I was a teenager, I had a very serious oral surgery. My wisdom teeth impacted, but they were so bad. They went into the bone and both sides. The surgery was actually quite intense. And since then, I've had huge TMJ issues, probably due to the surgery. Also, as a kid, I think I was around 14 or 15, I got Bell's palsy. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's where half your face paralyzes. We don't know why I got it. We think I might have had some kind of a virus, and the doctor believes that this may have been a result of the virus, but it was really scary. And as a young teenager, to have half your face paralyzed was just so traumatic. I mean, to this day, I get freaked out if I have any kind of anything weird feeling on one side of my face. That left me with also having issues where it comes to like my sinuses, and that causes some of the TMJ issues. Anyways, it's all somehow connected. So I got the Invisalign because I had my teeth were shifting kind of closer together. And the doctor also felt that maybe if we fix the bite and fix my teeth, it might help ease at least a little bit the TMJ issue. So I had the Invisalign done. I wore my Invisalign for about a year. Yes, it was expensive, y'all. It was like, I think I paid around, all total, $6,500, something like that. And that included all the retainers that I will need to wear from now on till eternity. It worked, and my teeth look, I think, really pretty good. And it absolutely, absolutely helped with my TMJ. I have not had any TMJ issues since I started the treatment, and also no migraines. I think it could be because you wear these things on your teeth and you wear them at night, so you're not grinding your teeth together. I think I was a big tooth grinder. Definitely worth the money. As far as I'm concerned, your teeth are so important. I would pay any amount of money to ensure that I have good dental health, because as you age, having good dental health and having your teeth in good shape really contributes to your quality of life. Okay, let's go on to fillers. Have I ever tried filler? Yes, I have tried filler in my lips. It was about a year and a half ago, and I only had what's called like a mini lip fill. It basically means that they're only using half of a vial. It's very tiny. I have very thin lips, and I have to admit this was purely a little vanity project. I wanted to try to see if it would make a difference and if I would like it. I didn't want to have these big duck lips like you see, but I wanted to give it a whirl. I tried it. Did it make a difference? I don't know. Maybe a little tiny bit. It was such a tiny amount of filler that it was really hard to see the difference. I would say maybe my upper lip definitely looked a little tiny bit plumper. They did it both upper and lower because you have to keep, the perspective right. Would I do it again? I don't know, because I didn't really notice a heck of a lot of difference. I was also told that the lip filler or filler of any kind actually stays, and it tends to migrate. So that kind of freaked me out a little bit. So I don't know how I feel about that. I do feel it definitely made a tiny bit of a difference. Like when I would put lipstick or lip gloss on, or something like that, I did notice my lip look a little bit fuller, but it wasn't a huge difference. So I haven't really made up my mind about whether I would do this again or not. Jury is out on that. Definitely, I haven't tried filler like anywhere else in my face. It's really expensive. I'm not someone who says don't do it. I mean, again, you do you try it out, see if you like it. A lot of these procedures, Botox especially, it does not last. Botox in reality only lasts maybe 3 months tops. So, if you try it and you don't like it, it doesn't kind of hang around there. Filler, I believe, lasts a little bit longer. So you don't have to do it as often either, but it's more expensive than getting Botox done. In any case, I'm too lazy to make an appointment to get any more done, so I don't think it's happening. Facials. I have tried facials. I've tried the hydrofacial, which I love, and that is definitely something I would do again. I don't do it very often. Again, it's a little expensive, but I sure love how my skin feels when I get a really nice facial. For me, it's like a little pampering thing. It's something that you do for yourself every now and then. And if you really enjoy facials and you can't afford them and you receive gifts from friends or family, just ask for a gift card. I'd rather get a really nice gift card to a spa than something that I'm never going to use. But I do love getting a good facial. A hydrofacial is really nice. It's a little bit more intensive. They use a machine to do it, and your skin just feels amazing. It's also a little more expensive, but definitely, in my view, worth it because your skin just feels so hydrated and so lovely. I'm definitely a facials fan. Again, don't do it very often, but every now and then it is an amazing treat. All right, let's talk about the main topic of the room, menopause and HRT. I get so many questions from people wanting to know if I take HRT or how I deal with menopause and that kind of thing. So I have a little bit of a weird story with menopause. I had been on birth control since I was like, I don't know, 18. And I took birth control all the way through to when I was 54. And I remember I went to the doctor for my yearly checkup, which everybody should do, by the way. But I was sitting there and we were getting ready for my prescription and so on. And the doctor said, have you thought about the fact that you're 54 and maybe you're already in menopause or well on your way to being in menopause? And I was like, well, I don't know. I'm still getting my period. Like, I don't know. And he's like, well, that is being on birth control. It kind of keeps you looking like nothing's happening because it's actual hormone that you are taking when you take birth control. We decided I was going to go off the birth control and we were going to do a blood test to see if I was in menopause. And I had to be off the birth control for a few months so that my system kind of completely cleared out. Well, let me just say those were probably the worst 2 months in my life, and I am never going back. I was hit with every possible symptom you could get. I got hot flashes, like severe hot flashes. I had brain fog. My hair started falling out. I felt emotional, and I am not an emotional person whatsoever. I never ever cry. I was sitting in a meeting, and I worked in a field where I predominantly worked with men. And when we had banking meetings or banking conferences, most of the time it was men. And I remember sitting in a meeting and my boss kind of raised his voice at me and I don't even remember why. I thought I was going to break down in tears. I had to pretend that I got something in my contact lens and had to excuse myself after a little bit and go to the bathroom, and I was just like crying for no reason at all. I mean, I'm used to working with men, and men are very abrupt sometimes, and so no big deal. It was weird. Anyways, it was the worst 2 months of my life. I went back to the doctor and I was like, you have to make this stop. We decided to try out a small dose of HRT. So we did that. I was a good candidate for it. I had no history of cancer in my family whatsoever. I was not overweight. I was pretty much a non-drinker. I ate healthy. I exercised. all around I was a healthy woman. I am still on a very tiny dose of it. It really works for me. Everyone has to do their own research. If you're referencing the old study that talked about, all the women who were on it who got heart attacks and cancer and whatever, that study has been discredited. There's a ton of new information about HRT and how to use it successfully with women who are in perimenopause or menopause. There is just so much more available for women for hormonal health than there used to be. There's still not enough because we are complex creatures after all, but there is so much more than what our mothers had. So if you're not managing well, go see your doctor, go see a professional, and there is help available. Again, for some women, they don't need to take anything. They prefer not to take anything. And that's cool too, because, there are ways that you can probably manage through menopause without taking anything. I will be watching my comment section carefully. I don't want any kind of pseudo-science stuff in the comment section. I'm not interested in that. I just want some really meaningful and good and kind conversation. All right, so that about sums up what I would think are kind of the more controversial beauty treatments and health treatments, etc., that I have tried. Again, if you have any questions about anything, please leave them in the comment section below and join the conversation. And this is all I have for this week, and I will see you all next week at our regular time. Bye.